All right, it's the Pop Tower Podcast. I'm Peter W. Dawson.
I'm James Bullock.
And we are here to talk about video games and television.
Yeah.
No movies? It's a shorter episode this week, but trust me, movies are going to be coming aplenty as we enter the summer of some movies.
Yeah, movies. Well, we got to start with spring first. We're not even getting to summer yet.
What are you talking?
Spring's already loaded.
As far as I'm concerned, it's summer once the big summer movie comes out, and I think we know what
the summer blockbuster season is going to be the longest summer blockbuster season ever.
Well, yeah, I mean, like even before that, we've had more than a few solid blockbusters before this.
True.
And then, of course, the official opening bell is, of course, going to be Avengers: Infinity War, which is now coming out in April rather than May.
Yeah, man.
Oh boy, but that's
they want to use that Black Panther popularity. I want to credit it all to Black Panther.
Why the heck not? But so, how you doing today, James?
I'm doing pretty good now.
Yeah. You know, looking at the movie schedule, I don't think I'd ever saw such a thing.
I know, right?
I promised to work a sausage thing into the opening, and there was my sausage pun.
There you go.
Didn't make a lot of sense, but I did slip it in there.
Gotta slip it in somehow.
Yeah. Much like any good sausage, it always needs to be slipped in. But that's enough terrible innuendo. Let's talk about video games, shall we?
Yeah.
So
it's only perfect that two people are talking about those.
Oh, yeah. Two guys, one sausage.
Yeah, two guys, one
Something's
sausage.
gone very wrong.
Yeah.
Or very right, I suppose. But, speaking of two guys, so we're going to be talking about a way...
Oh, man.
Did you even realize you set that up?
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking about A Way Out, which is a pretty new game. It just came out on March 23rd, so it is almost a month
right,
old.
the end of March.
Yeah, so it's about a month old at the time of recording. And it was done by Joseph Fares, who previously did Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons, which was a famous co-op game. I believe that was 2011? No, I think it was newer than that.
It was like 13 or
14, 2013,
14,
yeah, 2013. Yeah, no, I corrected myself. Yeah, it's a unique game in that there's no single-player option. You either have to play local or online co-op.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And, of course, local, that means split screen. It is currently available on Windows, PlayStation 4, and, of course, the Xbox One.
The wonderful Xbox One.
Yep. Yeah, you recently got one.
I've been converted.
You still got your PS4, though, don't you?
Oh, yeah, I still got my PS4.
Yeah, I wouldn't say converted so much as your family's just gotten a bit bigger.
Adopted. Yeah, it's gotten a little bit bigger, yeah.
I mean, just because
Sorry,
you have
Nintendo.
a second child doesn't mean you have to give up the first one.
Yeah.
This isn't Sophie's Choice.
Oh, I'm sorry, Nintendo. That is actually the case.
Oh,
there you go.
That's fine. If I pick up a console, it's probably going to be a Switch.
Yeah, no, that'd be perfect for us. But let's go back to A Way Out.
Yeah, we're really drifting off topic.
Yeah, we really went off place that time.
We wanted to talk about consoles. But the trick is, A Way Out, okay. So, like I said, it's a co-op game, and the setting, it's, I believe it's 1972, to be exact. It's like the late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah.
And it's about two prisoners who need to find a way out.
They have to break out of prison.
So as a result, probably the two biggest influences are Shawshank Redemption, because especially the scenes in the prison are very Shawshank.
Yes, so Shawshank.
Yeah.
I mean, especially like the prison yard scenes. Like, just so much.
There's even an old man who pretty much might as well be Morgan Freeman.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like... I can't do his voice. I nearly started into...
No, don't even bother.
Yeah. You know how bad my impressions are.
You know how that might turn out.
It's so terrible, you'll be distracted about how offensive it is. But, yeah, so there's that, and of course there's some prison break motif, because you spend a lot of it having the two characters talk about how they're going to break out.
Right, trying to plot their escape, and I just love the point of two people sitting on the couch together, looking at these guys plotting their escape, and you're thinking, you know what, this might actually work.
Yeah. Well, 1972, you know.
Yeah, not now, but back then, it might actually work. If we got in trouble back then, we might be able to figure this thing out through this game.
Yep. And then you and I would escape into the wilderness, Uncharted style.
and they will ride a dilapidated boat.
Yep. Oh, that boat was super dilapidated.
That boat was so dilapidated.
So, small spoiler, but the prison break is probably only about the first third of the game.
Exactly.
Maybe slightly more than it's pretty much.
It feels like a good first act. You know?
Yeah, it's a solid first act because they have to gather a bunch of tools. There's all kinds of little stuff you need to do. Absolutely, it's totally a game that focuses on cooperation, as you might expect, and it handles that very well.
Yeah, that's the best aspect of this game. For all of its flaws that it has, specifically for me, is like the third person, because it's all in third person for a third person perspective for first of all, and but like when it comes to the handling of guns and shooting, I didn't really care for too much.
No.
But in terms of like cooperation, because there's a lot of quick time events, and you have to time your button presses together and make sure you hit it at the same time. Like that kind of stuff, works phenomenally.
Oh yeah, no, like it's weird that they decided to go third person shooter with it, because they do eventually, and it's very rudimentary. But it's also weird because it feels a bit like Uncharted.
Yeah,
but like, so it's this weird situation.
Like Uncharted before they actually did the testing.
Yeah, because you have infinite ammo, and enemies basically die in one hit.
Yeah, which I mean, yeah, we just broke out of prison. We somehow had infinite ammo, but hey, let's just not think about it too much.
Yeah. It's like when Sam Fisher found out Solid Snake retired.
Yeah,
it's like, I guess that's it for infinite ammo. But yeah. So it's third person, a lot of quick time events, and the quick time event stuff is all really well done. There's some really good timing. Like the actual mechanics of pretty much everything but the shooting is pretty good.
Yeah, you can tell what they worked on the most and what they thought about it at the end. Like maybe we might need to add a little bit of action into this game. Let's have a couple of shootouts, but we're not gonna go too far and to try to make sure everything feels as tight as a 2018 game would normally feel when it comes to third-person shooting.
I know. That's really one of the kickers, because, like, this is a decently expensive, it's published by Electronic Arts under EA Original, so it's kind of a semi-indie.
Right.
And so what's it on the US store?
It's actually half price at $30.
Okay, yeah, so, yeah. It's a little higher than you might expect to pay for a typical indie, but it's still, like, the price is probably about right, because you can easily get minimum 6 hours of gameplay out of this.
Yeah, that was the thing that was surprising to me, because they want you to be dedicated to somebody else playing it. And they actually gave you a game that's lengthy enough to say, you know what, this is actually worth sitting down, but it doesn't feel too long.
Yeah, and, like, yeah, you could probably do it in one really long sitting, but, like over the course of a day, it's like, hey, bro, you want to hang out?
It's definitely a day-worthy game that you can sit down and play with a friend.
Yeah, you start after lunch, and by the time you're finished, it's time for dinner.
Exactly.
Assuming the meals are both pizza.
Yeah. we just like Leo and Vincent, we prepared ahead of time what we're going to have for dinner, so it'll be just quick. If we have to take a little bit of extra time with the game, it's already ready for us. We just got to go and get it.
One of my favorite things is all the little mini games they included that not only are nonsensical, but like they wouldn't have time to play some of these games.
No. I'm telling you, I'm a huge Connect 4 fan as a kid.
I was wondering if you were going
to... I couldn't get enough of it as a kid. And that was the thing I think I spent more time on playing with my friend than anything was Connect 4.
Look, it's just so addicting.
I know.
How else can you Connect 4? But yeah, as like the graphics are maybe a little lower than usual, despite the and you probably wouldn't notice so much if it wasn't for the fact that it's very Uncharted-like. And of course, Uncharted is a very pretty game, and this isn't. Like the artwork.
It's one of those games that feels like it's like in between generations.
Yeah, like it still looks fine.
No, it looks good, especially the more cinematic scenes really look good.
Oh yeah, like it's just like when you get a good close up, it's like it's just doesn't quite feel up to snuff. But I mean, it's not terrible by any stretch.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can cite it as a problem, I guess, but half price game still looks the artwork still all fits. I mean, just the real problem is some of the writing isn't very good.
Oh, and the voice acting is kind of hilarious at times.
Well, yeah, because I think some of them aren't, like, their English as a second language, so they do these weird accents. I don't know. I'm not sure what it is. Like, the two characters, because it's Leo and Vincent.
Mm-hmm.
And Leo in particular. Oh boy. By the way, he's I believe he's Joseph Fares' brother. Fares?
I believe so.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's Swedish Lebanese. So, that's what that accent is. Probably. I'm just saying, like, because it feels like it's set in, I want to go with, not Kentucky, but like...
No, I feel like kind of close to Midwest.
Like the crappy side of Ohio?
Yeah.
Maybe Idaho?
I was thinking Idaho. I really was. I was thinking Idaho, really. It just feels like it, which is weird because we had like these rapids and everything else. So.
Oh yeah, that's more Idaho, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not Montana. It's not Montana.
Yeah, maybe poor man's Michigan.
That's a hell of a Michigan. But yeah, and like the problem is some of the writing isn't like the gameplay is really good. That's what it's built on, and that's definitely the strength. The writing is fine.
It's stereotypical.
Yeah, it's really stereotypical at points.
It's stereotypical
to a painful extreme.
Yeah.
And the part of the problem too is that characters repeat lines way too much.
Mm-hmm.
Especially
and same thing like if you're talking to NPCs, especially after that first act when you actually get out of the prison, and it just feels kind of redundant, even if you talk to the NPC with different characters.
Yeah. Well, it's like and then some of the sequences, like when you're driving a truck at one point and somebody's shooting a shotgun out the back, he just keeps saying like the same thing over and over if he misses.
Yeah.
It's pretty obnoxious. So you're getting what you pay for good and for bad. Mostly for good, though, I would say.
Yeah, no, I think it's one of those games that's going to be, I think currently, it's not looked fondly upon. I think when it comes to the end of the year, I think a lot of people will give it more credit than they are right now. Once you look back and say, oh, wow, this actually did a lot to kind of be dynamic and different from everything else, and actually did it in a very good way. Yeah, it's got a few fundamental flaws, but those, like you said, are definitely outweighed by the good.
Yeah, no, it's especially the ending twist. Well, still arguably having some logic gaps. You don't really care.
Yeah. No, it's good enough to make you forget.
Absolutely, like because they still nail it, and it's kind of awkward, really. But we'll leave that alone.
Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. Really, if you feel like you're getting a little bit tired of the game by the 4.5, 5 hour mark. Just hold on, because the endings are incredible. And I said endings. There are actually multiple endings.
Well, yeah. I mean, you got to figure out which guy got the wife pregnant. I'm only slightly joking about that.
I know. That's what makes it so
because one character's wife is pregnant. But no, you know who the father is. All right. Anything else you want to add on this?
No, I think it's a solid game. I think one thing they did a smart thing was put it at half price. I think that's where it's more of a draw point to me than anything. It's one of those... Oh, and we forgot to mention, only one person has to buy it.
That's true.
I forgot about that. So
that's right, because you can connect remotely. Yeah, you don't need to each own a copy.
Exactly.
Right, yeah, even if you want to play remotely. I forgot about that part.
Yeah, so I mean, that's a big deal. So you really only investing $30 in a two-person game.
Yeah, so if you got a dedicated roommate or a dedicated friend you want to play something online with, you could do far, far, far worse.
Far worse, man.
And it's fun. I mean, I don't know how much you'd want to replay it is the only trick.
Yeah, I think to me, like a lot of games that are built on these specific dynamics and really built on storytelling, kind of once you see the big twist or once you see the big ending and you've already experienced it once before, it really doesn't give you the incentive to do it again.
Yeah, and it doesn't really have the challenges that Uncharted and stuff do. I mean, it's got the trophies, but there's not really too many... Like, if anything, the replay value will just be stuff like Connect 4.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you make sure you have a save point right there so you can go back and play the mini games.
Yeah, you want to go back and play some Connect 4? Oh, yeah, bro. Let me show it Xbox Live.
Yeah, fire that Xbox, fire that PS4.
Yeah, I think we can move on now.
Oh yeah.
So moving from prison to a show that used to be about a prison.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Walking Dead.
Mm.
It's the season 8 finale.
Yeah.
And as we talked about before, Carl is dead.
Yeah. Yeah, we ended with a big cliffhanger last time because we talked about the mid-season. And Carl got bit. It was the cleanest bite I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
So, I hate to say it was the cleanest bite I've ever seen. Like, a guy gets bit in the stomach by a zombie, and he's just like... It was just like a barely an animal bite.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, Carl has been bit. We don't know exactly for how long, because we've lost all sense and track of time in this series now.
We really have.
I mean, how long has Maggie been pregnant, really?
Hang on, let me just roll the dice. 18 months.
Yeah, because I'm seriously, like, okay, we lost all sense of time. I mean, at least, what was it? I believe season 3 to 4?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, whenever they got to the jail.
Yeah.
And they did that big time skip, where they went from, okay, it was starting to get to winter time, and then when it came back, it was already spring.
Yeah. And yeah, and ever since then, it's like, we haven't established if there's been any more winters, like...
Right.
What's going on? Like, and how did Jon Snow get the Dragonstone so fast? Sorry, I just had to throw in a Game of Thrones reference for time scale.
Especially when we're talking about winter.
Yeah. I thought that was a good time to bring that reference in.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, we've lost all sense of time now because, and then, of course, how could I forget Judith?
Yep.
Rick's daughter and Carl's sister has grown tremendously.
Yep.
And, like I said, I have no idea what time of the season it is, what time of year. I don't know if it's been a year, 2 years, what have you. I don't know what's going on in terms of time, but I know for a fact Carl is dead. That's how we open the second half of the season. Carl is dead.
Well, no, he takes a whole episode to die.
I know, but I really thought they were going to stretch it out the whole season.
No, thankfully they didn't.
No, they did not. They let Carl die in the first episode of the mid-season.
Yeah, right at the end, though. I mean, it still took an entire episode.
But I was actually fine with that because,
really?
I mean, Carl's a huge point of the story, especially considering his interactions with Negan. I was perfectly fine with them giving a whole episode dedicated to Carl's memorial. So, even though but you had to also note that the lingering voice of Carl, the narrator, was still throughout the season.
Yep. Because they needed to give Chandler Riggs a little more work before he goes off, and I don't know. I'm trying to think. What could he do? Could he do like gritty Dennis the Menace reboot? Maybe.
I just think he wants to live life. Like, he's made some money, enjoy life. You know.
He's a Minecraft fan.
See, there you go.
Maybe he'll work on the Minecraft movie with the Sunny guy. I don't know.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's his next big project.
Yeah, but so the season as a whole, or I guess the second half, because we already talked about the first half.
Right.
Overall thoughts?
Oh man, I don't know. I don't know anymore. I really don't.
Well, can I? If you're not sure, may I vocalize my thoughts here?
Yeah, you do so.
I am grateful that the war is over.
Okay.
I did enjoy the second half more than the first half,
but
it was really hard for me to pick a favorite episode besides the finale.
You know, the funny thing about it, I was actually looking at the list of episodes during the second half, and I was trying to figure out, like, which one did I like the most? Like, I respected the first one with Carl's death, and like I said, I enjoyed the last one. I thought, especially the twist with Eugene, was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. I saw that coming, and I still loved it.
That was the best part of the whole season for me. And then everything else kind of was like, okay, every episode had a moment, but none of the episodes really stood out in comparison to, say, like I believe it was the fourth episode with where they focused on King Ezekiel. Like, that was the best episode of the season. Still,
Some Guy.
Yeah, Some Guy. Yeah, that's the best episode of the entire season for me.
Absolutely.
And no other episode outside of that really stood out.
No, the closest. Sorry, go ahead.
No, what were you saying?
I was going to say, yeah, the closest would be the finales and stuff.
Right. And even those were, like, more built on the fact that we had, like, this one big, profound moment.
Yeah. It's really just, I don't know. I mean, sorry, do you want to go for a second?
No. I'm like, looking through the episodes, I'm, like, really trying to figure out what am I going to say.
All right.
Because other than, like, I know we want to talk about the big ending, because, I mean, everybody already knows about it.
Yeah, you know, it's just I handle the exposition, so I tend to...
Right.
I'm always worried I'm talking too much.
It's one of those things, you know, like, how much more can we say? Because they really spent an entire second half of a season really just spinning their wheels.
Yeah, more or less. I mean, the big buildup was that Gregory was going to lead the group into an ambush.
Mm-hmm.
And then he does. But turns out Eugene, who'd been working with Negan this whole time, actually was maybe a bit of a traitorous...
Right.
Little...
He knew his bread was buttered, even though he was acting like, man, I am truly Negan throughout the... And that's one thing you got to give the credit to the overall... I got to say, okay, that's the one biggest strong suit of the entire season, the writing and handling of Eugene's character.
Absolutely.
Because I truly believe that even if I wanted to think he was not on the side of Alexandria and the Hilltop, they did a good enough job to make me believe that maybe I was wrong.
Yeah. Oh, no, like, it's... He... You know he has loyalties to his friends, but at the same time he's also a survivor.
Right, and then the fact that they kind of made you believe that, like, he really felt unappreciated by everybody else in his original group. Mm-hmm. And now he is like, okay, he's fancy pants, he's brains and time in Negan's eyes. And he's always been lustful for power. Like, he always wants to feel important. Like, that was the thing they established right when we first get introduced to his character. And now we find out that he's put in a position where he actually does have power. And of course he becomes drunk with it. Both literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that one season would be the MVP of the whole season would be Eugene?
Well, it was either going to be him, Ezekiel, or, of course, old standby Daryl.
No, I can't even put Daryl in this season.
You really can't, because he was barely in it.
He was just there to grunt and shoot crossbows the whole season.
I know, the most interesting thing that happened with him was at the end of the season.
Very end. At the very end.
So, okay, we're going to get into the spoilers, because, like, this is how I like a season to end, by the way. Even though, like, you know, you can argue it's better to have a bigger cliffhanger, this is the kind of cliffhanger I like. Mm-hmm. So, Eugene, at the last moment, helps out our heroic alliance, because I guess
it's really just
Alexandria, Hilltop, and the Kingdom, although it's mostly down to Hilltop right now.
Pretty much they keep saying Alexandria, but Alexandria's gone.
Yeah.
And everybody's at Hilltop.
The Hack Alliance.
So it's like Hilltop, and then we have the twist also with Oceanside.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, so it's the Hill Oceans.
The Hauk? The Hacko Alliance. Or the Caho Alliance. I think Hacko, because that puts Hilltop at the front, since,
right,
you know, they came out the best.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the Hacko Alliance gets lured into an ambush by the Saviors, but twist of twist, Eugene's fancy new bullets, they misfire.
Yeah.
And that was on purpose.
And it was. And didn't affect Negan much, though.
No, but I mean, Negan's freaking Negan.
Yeah.
He just reset it. He just reset his spawn point. And he was fine.
When he disappeared, that moment off screen, that was him respawning.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. Like, some people have joked, like, online, he's like a vampire, or he has, like, Michael Myers powers. It's like, no, he's hacked the game. Like, that's my explanation for him.
So is he, like, Telltale or Overkill?
Yeah, probably. I'll go Telltale.
Yeah, because we don't know what Overkill's going to produce so far, so there we go.
No. Yeah, so ultimately, Negan tries to run, and Rick catches up with him, and oh man, I'm not gonna lie, I legitimately thought they were gonna do it. Rick cuts his throat.
Yeah.
I legitimately thought they were gonna kill Negan, because, I mean, Jeffrey D. Morgan is in high demand.
Yeah, very much so. I really thought you consider that they have actually gone astray with what's in the comic book before. And then to top it off, many times, but then to top it off, this season we already killed Carl, which is not a point of the comic book. So I was kind of like, well, Negan is a fair game now. His death is actually fair game.
Yep. So, yeah, but ultimately he had promised Carl that he wasn't going to kill Negan.
Yep.
So, sorry, how's it pronounced again? Siddiq?
Yeah.
It's Siddiq, right?
Yeah,
Not Siddiq?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. He manages to save Negan's life despite having his throat cut.
Yeah. The person, for those who haven't paid attention, Siddiq is the guy that Carl saved, that Rick tried to shoot at one point early in the season. Carl saves him, and is the reason why Carl got bit. So he's kind of like dedicated to doing whatever Rick does to kind of avenge and remember Carl for the good person that Carl was. Because and the one thing I want to note, and I thought about this after the season, after I wrapped up, it's amazing the transformation of Carl from a character. Because looking back now, you see the guy, okay, first, of course, he was this innocent kid that was thrust into this crazy world that he doesn't understand. And as he starts getting older, he sees his father as more of a coward.
Yep.
Because really, Rick is trying to be the nice guy. He's trying to keep everyone together. He doesn't want to kill anyone. And,
trying to be a white boy Rick.
Yeah. And Carl starts getting angry, and he starts seeing, like, violence is the only way to solve problems now in this world. And then Rick starts transforming into what Carl is, in that he sees violence as the only way to solve anything in the world. And then Carl kind of like starts reverting to what Rick was at the beginning of the series, where now Carl wants peace. And of course Carl dies because he wants peace.
Look, you can't walk the path of peace in a world where you can only walk the path of pieces. That is the Steven Seagal rule. Just trying to walk the stupid path of peace.
Yeah, so I'm amazed when I think back. Like, they actually, from a character perspective, from a character arc, the parallels of Carl and Rick's attitudes in terms of the way they handle things have been so differing yet so similar.
Yeah. But now, yeah, Carl's gone. Rick's trying to honor his son.
Yep.
And guess what? Leaving Negan alive pissed some people off.
Yeah, oh man, that's Maggie, absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah. Huh, who would have thought it? The widow that was made a widow by Negan is pissed that Negan's still alive.
In front of her, and she was almost sick and dying at that point, about to lose her child.
Yeah, and not to mention Glenn basically got horribly brain damaged in front of her. Like, that was all kinds of messed up. And it's like, oh, good.
Yeah,
so we got the hint that
this guy gets to live.
Yeah, so the big ending, like, the war's over, but Maggie is really mad.
Very much, and as we said, reasonably so.
Yeah, like, this is genuinely potentially good conflict. I just, I hope they don't, because, I mean, the problem is with the show, like, it used to be, oh, why do they, like, actually, no, they pretty much always felt like they've had too many episodes in a season.
Yeah, this is definitely an example of this season being way too long-winded.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, really think if it was like 12 episodes, like 6 first half, 6 second half, I think it would be a lot stronger.
Yeah, because, I mean, like, the first season is arguably too short.
Right.
Arguably. And then the second season, they had a budget cutback, but they still had more episodes, and they just got stuck on the farm the whole time. Yeah, and they couldn't do the big flashback they wanted to do, which is a bummer. Because that flashback episode, for those who don't know, in Season 2, they wanted to do a flashback showing more of the pre-apocalypse.
Right.
And the big thing was, in the very first episode of the show, there's a dead soldier in a tank, who's actually played by a somewhat known actor. That guy was supposed to be important in that flashback episode. Just fun trivia from years ago, just since we're talking about Walking Dead. I love bringing that up, though. Because it's an interesting example of what could have been.
When it comes to the second season, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, like, some other stuff was going to be always going to happen, unfortunately. But, but as for Season 8, it had some good points, but it kind of made war boring. Yeah.
It was just everybody's on a walkie-talkie, going back and forth. What are we going to do to each other? What are you not going to do to each other? Let's try to be diplomatic. No, we cannot. We have to kill you. And then we have a couple of scrambles here and there, and then that's it.
Yeah, I do want to bring up the ratings for a second.
Yeah, because that came out yesterday, right? Yeah.
Well, let me compare Season 7 to Season 8
Okay.
here. So Season 7, the premiere of season 7. You know, the one where we need to find out what the heck happens to
Abraham.
Glenn.
Don't forget about our good friend Abraham.
Yep. I was literally about to say that, but you cut me off, and nope, fair enough.
Okay.
That got 17 million viewers. And, like, to compare that, the premiere of the previous season only had 14 million. Right? So, I mean, that was actually an uptick. But then after the reveal, it quickly started to downturn. So the season was averaging somewhere between 11 and 10.5.
Yeah.
Now, this is the bad news. Like, I don't like to talk about ratings unless it's either really good news or really bad news.
To me, this is very important.
I'm not trying to be cynical about this. I'm really not. Yeah, like, I want to emphasize, I'm not trying to be cynical about this. Because, you know, of course, there's plenty of episodes of the show I love. There's plenty of seasons I love. It's something about, like, it might just be franchise exhaustion. Like, what's bringing this on and why we kind of felt uninspired with some of the episodes this season. But ratings-wise, the premiere got 11.4. The finale only had 7.9. Which was, I believe, was the lowest one since,
I want to say, either the second or third season?
I'd have to go back to check, but some of the episodes in the second half here dropped to like 6.6, which is like ratings don't mean what they used to in the age of DVR and stuff. So online viewing, you know, Netflix, whatever, but it is alarming when ratings drop that much. So, I mean, they've got at least one more season, I believe. Because I think they were renewed through season 9.
I know they've been talking about possible 10 to 12. Yeah, they I don't think they've actually signed anything, but they've actually talked about up to 12.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, they've guaranteed a 9th season, that's it.
And I have to say, out of anything, this would have been the season that ended. Because... I'm not even saying just because of like fatigue, like you were saying, franchise fatigue, which I completely agree with. I believe that the formula is kind of seen its better days. And I mean, it's one thing in the comic books where you can be a little bit more dynamic with it, but on TV you're limited in certain aspects, and it's become obvious they're very limited in trying to make a different Walking Dead than what we've experienced, you know, for the last 4.5 to no, really, wow, this is probably season 3. And
yeah,
and
right, it's kind of always been a problem with this show.
But my thing is, the ending was so good. If you subtract the coalition of evil, the coalition in the darkness that we saw on Hilltop at the end featuring Maggie, if you eliminate that scene, you had the perfect ending of the series. It was a perfect ending to the series. You had the problems of Negan being alive but being in jail. You have Rick keeping his promise to Carl and feeling like this is a brave new world. And there are no other villains that we know of in sight. Because they didn't do like one thing they didn't do, they didn't have like that cliffhanger that they've had in previous seasons where we had an illusion of a villain about to show up. We've had that with Negan. I believe the mid-season before Negan's big reveal, they had his crew, the Saviors, show up, and we found out that they actually exist.
Yep.
So...
yeah, and even going as far back as like season 3 foreshadowed prison.
Yeah, you're right. Right.
Or the end of season 2 foreshadowed the prison,
the governor surviving and everything else. So, yeah. And, yeah.
Like, outstaying your welcome.
Yeah.
I love David Morrissey as much as the next man, but come on.
Too long with that one. Yeah, at least half. And,
at least half a season.
But at least we had the tank. That was actually pretty cool. Yeah, and
that was baller. Like I said, the action in the show is pretty much always stellar.
This is one of the funniest things to me because I said when the next episode showed up, I guarantee you Herschel's head will be gnawing on some grass in the middle of a field, and lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. So that's the greatest thing that ever happened to me on Walking Dead was I was right about Herschel's head.
Just declare you're a wizard.
I'm a wizard.
I'm a wizard. But no, I'm hoping I hate to ask the show to end, but I think season 9 might have to be the last.
Do we skip past everything that do we just completely ignore, what happened in the comics following Negan's arc, and just do something completely brand new? Because, we already getting the illusion that Maggie's coalition of evil is going to be a big focal point of the next season. Do we just focus on that and stick with that, or do we try to mix in some other stuff?
I would probably mix that in with trying to have some conclusion to the myth arc. Now, what I'd love to do is if they did and I know I've talked about this before, the reveal of the aliens that was supposed to happen in the comics. I would love it if they did that. They're not going to do that.
It would not go.
They would be insane to reveal. Oh yeah, after all this time. No, that would be a jumping the shark moment. It's like a reverse to what happened on Lost, where every time they explain something was lame, it's like in this case they explain something it's interesting. It just feels entirely out of tone with the show. Yeah. No, the only thing I can imagine is they reveal that there is still some kind of government body or something that might be able to cure it or something or other. Obviously, the people who are zombies are still dead. But, I really think if it's their last season, they should do something that truly and definitively explores the nature of the zombies. Whether it's trying to do a cure plot, whether it's something related to a cure plot, and of course, we need to have conflict between the main characters, the characters we've fallen in love with. Maggie used to be one of my least favorite characters because I hated the actress. I thought she was doing a terrible job, and I didn't find the character terribly interesting. She's now one of my favorites. I'll totally admit, hey, the show turned me around on both the actress and the character. Good job.
To your point, one thing we've seen time and time again, and we really never had an explanation to, is helicopters. So,
yeah. I know, it's is there...
Right, we have something.
Air Fortress.
We know they're coming from somewhere. And, with Janice, who do learn her real name in the finale, where she knew about a helicopter coming around. So, we know there's some kind of Air Force, Air Militia, somebody with piloting experience going around this area. And who are they connected to? We don't know.
Saber Rider and the Star Sheriff. Saber Rider.
Yeah.
I see your 80s reference and raise you my own. No, but the revelation of the helicopters would probably be one of the other good things. It's some kind of shadow government. I joked about Zeppelins, but
they could pull it off.
Honestly,
they
could probably pull that off. Yeah, this has been a thing that's been going on for a while. The only other thing I can think of is because they're cut off, they wouldn't know. But maybe there's a major city that was always unaffected. What if New York is fine?
Right.
Because we know L.A. isn't fine. Thanks to Fear the Walking Dead. We know California's screwed. And by the way, Morgan is now going to wander over to the crossover to do a crossover.
It feels weird because it feels like he's going to be a Rick Rude situation. He's going to be on both shows. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know if they're going to have him show up. I don't know, because since the Fear of Walking Dead is going on now.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to watch the new episode yet.
Yeah,
I am curious how it's all going to tie together. I know he's going to... The only thing I know is he's going to meet Garrett Dillahunt, which that never ends well. That man almost always plays villains.
Yeah.
He was one of the villains on The Gifted.
Yeah.
And he was a freaking Terminator at one point, for goodness sakes. Stop trusting Garrett Dillahunt. The only movie where he was a good guy was one where almost everyone else was a villain. No Country for Old Men. Don't go there. Yeah, so I guess, even if it's not the last season, hopefully season 9 really invests in this conflict between Maggie and Rick, and really either explores the helicopter plot, or like I said, if it is the last season, I'd love to get them to really explore the humanity, and the helicopter plot, if it's a advanced government organization, could really explore this.
My only concern is,
because
we've had teasers, and they have not turned out well. Specifically, the abandoned hospital. Yeah, I'm worried if they try to do some kind of teasers of that, it might bleed into something like that instead of being something really profound and fun.
Yeah, well, I mean, at least they would have helicopters, which would make them interesting. I mean, the only other thing I could think of at this point is it turns out there's like a roving band of marauders who just go around targeting other groups, and they've got like battle wagons.
Walking Dead, that'll be the next thing. Yeah,
they've got multiple tanks
and helicopters armed
and like I don't know,
to mow down hordes of walkers. That would be actually.
That'd be awesome. I would. Yeah, and like it's like the end of Shaun of the Dead, where they just mow down all those freaking zombies. But I think on that note, we're good to wrap up.
Not the best, not the worst. But as well as
no, it's definitely not the worst.
I'm not necessarily hopeful for the future. That's my concern.
Well, we were talking about best and worst. What would you say is still the best season? I gotta go with 1 or 5.
I was thinking the 5th. Yeah.
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 Like I love season 1 and I love season 5. So I mean, those are probably. Yeah. And down. 2 is probably still the worst for me.
It starts off fine and then it just goes downhill. It is fine, but the beginning and end. Yeah. But the beginning and end is so long.
The beginning made me care so much about T-Dog, and then we find out in season 3 that T-Dog never mattered.
This is heartbreaking.
That really just makes it even worse for me.
Yeah, we'll never forget you.
It's like no one remembers T-Dog. We'll never find out what the T stands for.
It stood for terrific. It stood for terrific. Terrific
Tentative.
dog.
Damn right. Well, pouring one out for one terrific dog. Bullock. I've been Peter W. Dawson. And we will see you... out there.